All right, Panther fans. I was going to say talk me off the ledge. I don't think I need to be talked off the ledge quite. I wouldn't say I'm on the ledge, but I think I've started climbing the mountain that leads to the ledge. So I think that's where I am right now. I'm like, I got the gear and I'm kind of climbing up the mountain just a little bit. I've taken a couple of steps. I could still be talked into coming back down I could be talked into not climbing the mountain, but I mean, we knew it was going to be a bloodbath. I think we all kind of thought Zito might pull some rabbit out of his hat with being able to move somebody to bring in somebody. But instead, we lost everybody we thought we were going to lose. We picked up several bottom of the barrel rolls of the dice. And if we sign Eric Stahl after Duclair's money comes off, we'll be over the cap. That would be the perfect thing. And I want to lead this into Stu. If you had the Panthers signing Eric Stahl to a contract to put us over the cap, let me know how much that ticket paid.
Oh boy, where do we start? Well, I started watching the NHL Network about 11:45. 12 is when free agency started. And the first thing I saw was Giroux to Ottawa.
Right.
And it makes sense for Giroux. And I talked about this before about, these players and their home lives and their wives and their families and blah, blah, blah. And Giroux and his wife are both from Ottawa.
Right.
They have a summer home in Ottawa. And so that made sense. And I knew we didn't have the money. So I wasn't surprised when the first big announcement was Claude Giroux to Ottawa.
Right.
3 years, $6.5 million. So that's kind of sort of where I thought, maybe we'd get him for $6 million.
Right.
He was making $8 million with the Flyers.
Right.
He's 34 years old. So it makes perfect sense, to do a deal. Whether Ottawa, they just got the Brinket, but whether Ottawa makes the playoffs, goes anywhere is another story.
Yeah.
So one down.
Right.
And then the next one I saw was Mason Marchman to Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. George even wrote an article that it was Carolina.
Right. But it hadn't been like a done deal yet. Now, again, Elliot Friedman and Pierre LeBrun are the two guys, really Elliot Friedman.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe these GMs just let him know right before. It always seems like he breaks the news.
Yeah.
Like right before it's made official.
Right.
And that's, you got to hand it to the guy for having those type of close relationships with all these teams. But sure enough, there was a ribbon at the bottom of the screen when deals were done.
Right.
Okay. So as I'm looking, Dallas Stars agreed to sign Mason Marchman 4 years, $4.5 million.
Yeah.
So that was surprising. But not really surprising. And we talked about the type of money. We both, I think, thought he was going to want $4 million.
Right.
He ends up signing for $4.5 million. Okay, well, God bless him. The only thing I worry about, again, and it could happen with us, it could happen with Dallas.
Right.
He gets crunched one more time.
Yeah.
He gets another concussion.
Yep.
God forbid.
We're on the same page now.
That's the end of that. So
right.
I'm sad that he's gone. But again, it's one of those situations where, let's just say we signed him.
Right.
And he got hurt.
Yeah.
So then we'd be out, whatever.
Right.
So that's number 2. Let's see. Number 3 came right after that, and that was Ben Scherrat to Detroit.
Yep.
And then I got pissed.
That it hit you.
Okay, then I got pissed because we flushed 2 first-round draft picks down the toilet.
Right.
with a dream of winning the cup last year.
Technically 3, because remember we sent Tippett to Philly for. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean,
No, if you want to be
on the list
if you
of
want
we
to,
got assets back, that's 3 first with zip.
all right, but if you
return.
want to be technical about it, great. But let's just say 2 first-round draft picks down the toilet, and we get swept by Tampa.
Right.
Because everybody around the sun and the moon thought we were going to be at least in the finals battling
Right.
for the cup.
Right.
You know, it was always Colorado and the Panthers in the finals. So,
Yeah.
so then who else? Then
Achari.
Achari gets signed by St. Louis. That's you know, we both expected that.
Right.
And then, of course, you know, the former Panther moves. Trocheck gets paid in New York.
7 years.
$7 million. I think it was 6.25 mil. So it was like a $44 million contract. He got paid.
He got paid.
Yeah.
That was
and then Frankie V goes to Anaheim for 3.5.
3.65, I think. Yeah.
Something like that. So,
yeah. And then the Gabranson thing.
Right. Yeah. Which $16 million.
Somehow Gabranson got more money than Vetrano.
I mean, it's amazing. That's like his 7th team.
Dude, right out as of this moment, Eric Gabranson makes more per than Mackenzie Weegar.
Okay, so that's the goings. Now we get to the comings. Nick Cousins, you know, heard the name.
Right.
No, nothing stands out for me there. Colin White is another name I heard, but don't know much about him. And then the interesting thing about the Stahl brothers, you know, Mark Stahl, I expected him to retire 2 years ago.
Right.
And Eric Stahl, he's bounced around. The last thing I remember with Eric Stahl was when he was playing for Minnesota.
Yeah, he didn't even play last year.
You know, he had a good year, and then I heard that he was down in the minors, so he's on a PTO. I mean, I look at it like the, you know, the Joe Newendykes and the Corey Stillmans and they, you know, Dino Cicerellis and all the guys that we got in the past that were basically over the hill and coming down here to retire.
Right. And I would have, my take, looking at things the way I still say somebody's got to be going. Now we're still short. Here's the kicker for me. We filled out 22 out of 23 spots. Now, assuming this is a big assumption, by the way, but assuming they are saving the last spot for Eric Stahl, we left 0 room on the roster as it is right now for anybody from the AHL to come up and make the team. None. Cap wise and roster size wise. So that's a little bit I'm questioning what in that. I'm thinking that Zito must be thinking that somebody else is going to go. Now, if they do pull off the Weegar trade, because you and I both heard Weegar was looking for Sergachev. Weegar's looking for a Sergachev type contract, which Sergachev got 8 times 8.5, which ain't never going to happen here in Florida for Weegar. If we move Weegar, that gives us 3.25 to play with in one roster spot. And we signed this, guy who was the OHL, I think, defensive player of the year or the best. I think that's what it was. And I don't know if he's ready to come up or whatnot. Certainly, if we lose Weegar, we still have guys that are capable of filling out the top 4, and then the bottom pair is going to be, you know.
Okay.
Question.
So let me address that. That because that came up in conversation on the NHL Network, and that was that Weegar's agent and Zito, quote unquote, they're miles apart. and look for the Florida Panthers to move Uyghur.
Okay.
That's why we picked up Stahl, because I
Ah,
think maybe Zito knew that we were going to lose Scherrat. So now you got.
Ekblad, Forsling, Gudis,
Well,
Montour,
that's what it should have been, but
Stahl, and
that's what it
Carlson.
should be. You know, it
Stahl
should
and
be.
Carlson.
It should be. Forsling and Ekblad, Gudis and who?
Gudis and
Montour.
Montour. And then
maybe Gudis and well, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe
yeah.
Mark Stahl and Montour, because Montour is the more offensive minded, and Stahl's, he's old and slow, and he's probably going to be hanging there. So I don't know who to
Yeah.
gonna...
we got the same look. It's like not yeah.
So maybe it comes down to, again, we got Carlson, we got Lindbaum.
I don't think Lindbaum signed.
No,
just Carlson. We signed Carl.
Okay, so there you go.
Right.
So then I'm thinking it's going to be
and we signed Kierstead.
Yeah.
too.
So then I'm thinking that it's going to be Mark Stahl and Gudis, and then Carlson and Montour.
Carlson on the second
Carlson
pair.
and Montour played together. So you know what? I'm okay with that.
Right.
But I have in my gut that they're gonna
Well, they're gonna
have
to.
I hope it's not just for draft picks, because then, to me, we don't get a player back for Uyghur.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm just thinking this now because we've been, and the math might end up somehow kind of working. Even with this Duke and the LTIR, and then there's all this argument. I'm thinking he should be out for the full season, and people saying he's going to be ready mid-season. So what about the trade deadline? The trade deadline, that's when you move Uyghur. That's when he'll be worth the most, and you pop Duke back in, and the salaries are pretty much even Steven. That might be the way it goes, because I think Uyghur, if you're going to move Uyghur, he's going to be worth more, during the trade deadline. Of course, then you're rolling the dice that he doesn't get hurt or something stupid like that.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Right. Because that's the only reason, and that's my other question, is that, like, the only reason we were able to do what we did is because we assumed that we're going to put Duke on LTIR. So if he doesn't get hurt, somebody was going to have to go. Maybe they saved us a Hornquist buyout, because there was going to be, we would have been too far over the cap to even have done what we did. Now let's talk about Cousins and White. So I said on Twitter, I filled out the roster with the wingers that we had, and I said it's not a guaranteed playoff roster, and I didn't get a whole lot of agreement there. Now, I'm not saying it's a guarantee we're going to miss the playoffs, but in case nobody noticed, the East is a freaking beast. And I'm looking at our roster, and the people are saying, well, we only lost Marchman, and we didn't really have Drew the whole rest of the year. But now you throw in Duclair. So now basically what we have, we're either going to have to go with a top-heavy, top two lines, and then you start doing what we did before, which was wearing out Barkov and wearing out Huberdeau, or you're going to have to spread out the new guys along the top three lines, and now you've got a question mark on every single line. People are missing the point of why we were so good last year, and when it's what the difference was. It was the third line with Lundell, Marchman most of the year, and Reinhardt. They were eating up so many minutes and high quality minutes that we didn't wear out Barkov and Huberdeau, and that's what the difference was. That's why we had that massive explosion. So now you've obliterated that, and we've lost Duke. So I don't see a guaranteed playoff team. I'm going, if this is the roster we go into the season with, I'm thinking maybe we could pop 100 points with this team and make a play. But I'm certainly not anything like I was last year, where I'm like, this is the cup year. This is the year. A lot of things went right last year. A lot of things went right. 29 come from behind wins, people. Okay, with that roster, if
Two 13-game win streaks.
right. I mean, we won games coming back from 4 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals, because we had a ridiculous amount of talent, which we don't have anymore. So if this team gets off to being behind 3-1, 4-1, guess what? Those don't now with this roster, those losses are 4-2, 5-3. We're not coming back like that. So on one hand, I'm not saying the window is closed or anything like that. But and then, and especially you look, even if we lose Uyghur, I mean, he has his weak points, right? But let's not kid ourselves. I'd rather have Mackenzie Uyghur than Mark Stahl, or you know what I mean?
But
we took some hits.
Let's add one thing to the conversation.
Yeah.
Look what the other teams have done. Toronto, yes. Jack Campbell's no longer their goalie.
Right.
They got Samsonov. Yeah. And I forgot who was it, Matt Murray?
Matt Murray. Yeah, with the Leafs. Yes.
Yeah, so Toronto just got, Matt Murray was, I don't know what happened in his career, but
right.
He started out like a bat out of hell, winning 2 cups with Pittsburgh. So
right.
And then Samsonov was pretty good with the Caps. So anyway, and then by the way, Palat, I saw this morning, Palat's gone from Tampa.
Yeah, well, they spent their money on Cirelli and Sergachev. I mean, holy crap.
And then
I think they gave Cirelli 6.5. I think that's what I saw. I mean, they I think between Sergachev and Cirelli, they might have blew $100 million in contract.
Yeah, but they picked up Nemenchikov. I always mispronounce this guy's name. Nemenchikov,
You got me. Whoever it is, I don't know.
But the Lightning are always going to be at the top there.
Yeah.
Toronto, in my opinion, other than Campbell, I don't remember who the backup was for Toronto, but now they got 2 decent goalies.
Right.
Not going to say outstanding unless Matt Murray comes back to form and has,
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be probably Matt Murray will be the starter, but I forgot who Boston got. Boston got somebody, but that our division is,
No, the division is stacked, and you can't discount Ottawa now, obviously. And look, I'm not saying I the other side to this. Let's talk about the other half of the opinions is, well, he did it with Verhaeghe and Duclair, so why can't he do it with Cousins and White? I think we kind of know what kind of player Cousins is. Now he'll fit in. Is he going to give us, what was that, 18 goals like Marchman did on the third line? Is that going to happen? A lot of that had to do with Sam Reinhart and his 82 points being on the third line most of the year. So let's
It'll be really curious to see what Marchman does in Dallas.
Right. That too.
I'm also curious to see what Trocheck's going to do in New York.
And doesn't he realize Galant's only going to be there?
Who's he going to play with?
What's that? My bad.
I'm curious to see what Trocheck's going to do in New York. Does he play with Panarin? Does he play with I brain fart every time. Number 20 on the Rangers.
You got me. I don't know.
He scored 50-something goals this year.
Oh, geez. Now you're gonna put me on the spot, and I don't remember. What the hell is it? We're both getting. This wasn't the video.
It's just amazing that I blank out with this guy.
Yeah, I know. I'm blank with it too.
He's the left winger, and so Janujov's the center on the first line. So Trocheck will probably be centering the second line.
Right.
So yeah, he might be playing with Panarin.
Yeah.
Anyway, but what I meant to say was that the Eastern Conference that's why we have it so tough, because there were 5 teams, 6 teams that had 100 points.
Yeah. And
He's-
the other part to that is, Bobrovsky had a good year. He had the best year he's had with us.
Yeah,
And how much of that, we're about to find out, how much of that was adrenaline and excitement because he kind of figured this is the cup run and I don't want to be the weak link. If let's put it this way, if Bobrovsky does anything going backwards, like to the first 2 years, it's not a playoff team.
right. I agree.
But let's just forget about it unless they're going to plug Knight in. And look, to give you an example, Darcy Kemper just won the cup. What did he get? Was it $5.5 million?
Yep.
Yeah. So just a little bit more than half what Bubba Brewski's getting. Colin White. I've seen a lot of people saying.
Well, wait, last point on the goalie thing. So now you kind of sort of know what kind of money Knight's going to be looking for.
Well,
he's going to be looking for 5.5.
Now I looked at Vasilevsky's deals. Because I'm comparing them because of the age thing. Not obviously, I'm not saying, but Knight is Vasilevsky, but Vasilevsky did get a bridge deal. He did get a bridge deal that was not a ton of money. I think it was a 2-year deal. And then obviously he got the big contract, which is still less than Bobrovsky. But so I think because somebody brought up on Twitter yesterday, I think Superfan, I was talking with him, and something we've kind of all left out of the scenario is that the last 2 years of Bob's no move clause is a modified no move clause. So what we're probably looking at is Bobrovsky this year and next year, and then be able to move him in the final 2 years of his contract. So I think you'll probably see Spencer Knight get a bridge deal.
I agree. That would make sense.
Right. Yeah.
Like, let's get Yandel's thing off the books and we'll take care of you next year.
Right.
Maybe they'll even talk numbers like, hey, this is what we'll sign. We'll sign you for a year, bridge deal.
Right.
And this is what we're looking to give you next year.
Yeah. So I think that situation, I'm sure that they kicked the tires on Bobrovsky, but let's face it, if he can get, look, Kemper, I posted it yesterday. Kemper has a cup, and Kemper's career numbers are better than Bobrovsky's. And yet he's just considered like this throwaway guy who just won a cup and the Avalanche want to improve. And so Colin White, I don't want to miss out on this because a lot that's been like the biggest thing I've seen people talking about is they really feel like he's a guy like Verhaeghe, Duclair. They bought him out is what ended up happening last year. He got a big contract as a high pick. He never really lived up to the hype. Hashtag Owen Tippett. And then last year he got hurt and his shoulder needed surgery. So then they bought him out. So we give him the 1-year deal. Now there's people hoping and crossing their fingers, etc., and thinking that, hey, this was a high pick. Look what happened with Bennett. Look what happened with Duclair, Verhaeghe. So everybody's kind of hoping that we struck gold again with this kid White. Maybe. I'm not big on a guy with the injury history with the shoulder. Minus 52 for his career. And I know people are saying, well, he was on a bad Ottawa team. Okay. All right. That's fine. I don't know. To me, this looks like just, when I saw Panther fans talking up Colin White, what I thought in my head was the Philly fans going, hey, this guy Owen Tippett, he had like 18 goals last year and he was a first-round pick. How bad can he be? Maybe we struck gold. And then finding out that not so much. So it's a roll of the dice. The problem is that we're rolling the dice with basically 3 players this year.
Yeah.
So,
well, not really knowing too much about him or Cousins, other than seeing them play when we played Nashville and Ottawa, whatever.
No, yeah.
I can't really, I can't really comment. So I do agree with all the moves, the Mark Stahl move, whatever. Yeah, you're right. We're just, he's just rolling the dice and hoping it comes up 7.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how much gas do you think Eric Stahl still has?
I mean, he didn't play last year, so
he played in the minors.
I don't know what. I think maybe it's a favor to Mark, but I mean, if we signed him,
I mean, it would be pretty cool to have brothers on the team. Last time was the Burry brothers.
right? Yeah, but
So,
this is just very reminiscent of like the first 2 or 3 years I did videos where we were just, when we made the rosters, in the preseason, it was question marks and hopes and dreams and all of that. And I know that a lot of people thinking we didn't lose that much, but what we've lost it's where we've lost it. It's where we've lost it because we're not going to have that monster third line, and that monster third line was the key. I'm telling you, you saw in the playoffs when Lundell just wasn't quite ready and Marchman was gone. You saw what happened against Tampa. All right, that third line, unless
Eponiemi steps up.
Well, somebody,
he's a left wing.
Right.
Denisenko, I think, is a center, right?
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, now I don't know. You like this guy Schwint,
Well, but we've blocked everybody now. Now, unless somebody else goes, we've I don't know what we're doing. I'm gonna be honest. I like, okay. I get the Cousins and White. I wish we would have just stopped there and save some money and some room to develop somebody from the AHL. I know the Stahl brothers bring experience and yada yada, but I mean, if we needed somebody at the last minute, there's always some Connaughton like guy out there, that's going to take a minimum salary, a week before the season starts. The problem is that we gave these guys contracts now, so it's not like we can just blow them out during training camp and plug in a kid. We're going to have a cap hit if we do that. We don't have room to do that. So I was kind of hoping that we were going to see a couple of our own guys come up. Maybe now we're going to have room for one, unless somebody else goes. And if we lose somebody else,
that just goes to show you what Zito's mind's at, because obviously he didn't feel like either one of those two guys would be able to step in and fill the roles needed.
Right. And I just wonder if Zito has in his mind to maybe move Hornquist up the lineup a little bit. Who knows how that's all going to shake out. And, it's not all up to Zito, right? We got Maurice, which is a completely different.
That's completely different one thing animal we haven't even talked about.
Right. And Burnett with the Red Wings.
What is this new coach? What's he thinking? I mean, I speculated that he's going to be more defensive minded.
Right.
And more, obviously special teams need some work, but
yeah,
it's going to be an interesting season, and it's going to be an interesting training camp. It's
right.
See how everything falls into place.
Right.
So, I mean, we can conjecture, as we sit here on July 14th and, say, but it's just, it just brings me back to the way the season ended. And
right.
How sad and angry, because, man, he really rolled the dice And I really thought
Right.
Giroux and Scherrat were going to be the pieces. I thought Giroux was going to be that final piece,
Right.
that right winger for Barkov and Verhage, and that didn't happen. And just goes to show you, just goes to show you
No. Yeah.
the talent we had on this last year's team.
Right.
Who knows if we'll ever have that level of talent again?
Right.
And we didn't win the cup.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't win a game in the
Makes me
second round.
sad and angry at the same time.
Right.
And
Right.
Bob had a great year.
Yeah.
You can't hang that one on Bobrovsky.
No, are you kidding? No, he was the only reason it wasn't 5-1 every night against Tampa. He kept us in a lot of games there. But and then the last thing, obviously, is Andrew Burnett went and became a part of the Detroit Red Wings and Lindy Ruff's staff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah. He's gone. So that question mark is out the door. Interesting that it happened on the first day of free agency, because he could have done it at any point. But
I knew he would be gone. I mean, if we didn't sign him as the coach, he wasn't staying on with the organization.
Right.
Would you?
Me, obviously. Yeah. No, I would have wanted to have moved on too, I believe.
I mean, a new coach always wants to bring in his own guys. Yeah. I mean, look at Gallant.
Right.
You always take Kelly along with him.
Yeah.
Everywhere Gallant goes, Kelly's right by his side.
Right. Yeah. All right. So that's what we got.
That's it.
That's what we got. And I know there was a couple of I think there's this guy Balker. There's another guy that is, as of this morning, I read George's article. It's been reported that we've signed him, but he hasn't heard that it's official. It's another minimum wage type of another guy like a White or a Cousins. But I don't know where this money is coming from, unless, I really hope he doesn't. If we do all this and then buy out Hornquist, I'm going to be apoplectic. Because
I will be pissed off too.
Patrick Hornquist is going to be an important part of this team next year. He needs to eat some Wheaties over the summer, because I have a feeling he's getting some ice time.
They can't give him the C officially because he's got maybe one more year with us.
Right.
I don't see them re-signing him after next year. What do you do with Joe Thornton? I mean, I know it's minimal dollars, but
there's no room.
Is he coming back?
I think that was the Stahl brothers. I think the Stahl brothers replaced Thornton. I hope that's the plan. If our plan is to play the Stahl brothers on a regular basis every night, my comment about not being a guaranteed playoff team is accurate. Let's just put it that way. No, there's just no room for anybody. And somebody's still going to have to go, even with Duke's, even with Duke's LTR. Even if you put Duke on season-long LTIR, you got room for one guy left.
Duke's they have to do that,
right?
You were right. He's got to be out for the season.
Yeah, unless they're going to move Uyghur. Unless they're going
to move Uyghur.
Yeah, and which sounds like
he's got one more year left. I don't see any reason why we're forced to move him unless we get back somebody that's going to fill a spot, which I would think would be defense, and unless Zito has somebody in mind like a Forsling, like he finds a needle out of a haystack that's going to make $2 million or $3 million.
Right.
So interesting. It's just like, okay, so out of all the players, another surprise move, Johnny Gaudreau to Columbus.
Yeah.
And so I watched something, it was late in the night, where the NHL guys were talking about it and all scratching their heads.
Right.
Like, Why Columbus?
Why would he want to go there?
Johnny Gaudreau's from New Jersey. So he was talking about maybe possibly wanted to go like, home.
Right.
But Columbus is not around the corner from New Jersey.
No, it's not.
So they basically said, they can't figure it out. They'd like to hear from Gaudreau himself. And was it just a question of, he wanted to get out of Calgary for whatever reason? Because, players leave for a couple of reasons. They leave for the personal reasons with the family and going home like Giroux.
Right.
And they go to a team that's going to win the cup.
Yeah.
And I think, looking at both teams, you would think Calgary has a better chance of winning the cup than Columbus. Even though I don't think either one of them is a top 3 contender. So that's a perplexing move.
Yeah.
And
to say the least.
Who knows? So my question to you is, out of all the moves yesterday, which one kind of stands out to you as like oh my God, I can't believe that one?
You mean in terms of the NHL?
Yeah.
Oh, Gudbranson 4x4. Gudbranson. I mean, I
right.
He's making more money than we. That's what I said in my video yesterday. Was I'm laughing, and then I'm like, "Oh, Uyghur's gonna be pissed because right now Gudbranson is making more money than Uyghur." So he probably called Zito and said, "I want more now. I wanted 8 before I heard Gudbranson got 4. Fuck you. I want 9 now."
I just can't believe. I think it's his 7th team, not his 6th team.
It's been a lot. I mean, it's been a lot.
He's been on the Panthers, Vancouver, Pittsburgh, Anaheim, Ottawa.
Yeah, I think so.
Calgary. And now
last year was last year Calgary?
Yeah.
And now who the hell gave him the money? Who was it? Columbus. It was Columbus.
7 teams, and the kid's not even 30 years old yet. Or maybe he's 30. And then the other contract that stood out for me was Vinny getting,
7 years.
Having a $44 million contract.
Yeah, I was surprised about that.
And he's going to the Big Apple.
Right. Well,
which
he's
is
going
perfect for him.
Yeah. And with Gallant, New York's gonna be good next year, bro. Okay.
They got Louis Domingue to back up
Shesterkin, yeah.
That Georg
yeah.
He's gone.
He's in Colorado now.
Yeah. So
right. Yeah, no, the Rangers, I'd have to be, if I'm looking at the East right now, I'm picking the Rangers. I mean, look, they almost made it this last year. All they had to do was finish Tampa off, you know what I mean? Which is
Isn't it wild though that they didn't re-sign for Toronto?
I was a little bit surprised about that. He
Toronto only got a 3-year deal.
Right. He fit in well. I don't know. Maybe Vertrano and Trocheck don't like each other because they're both Italians. I don't know. I'm just maybe sometime I don't know. I was a little bit. I don't know what their cap situation is. Chris Kreider. Yeah, there we go. We got it by the end of the video. The comments are already full. We're not Ranger fans. We can't possibly. We're not Ranger fans, and we're not the hockey guys. We don't know every team's. Well, we should have remembered. I mean, we only covered every freaking game. But anyway, yeah, the Gudbranson and the 2 biggest surprises for me were the former Panthers, right? But I still the Gudbranson 4x4. That's his agent deserves a raise. Okay,
it's just amazing, and a 4-year deal to boot.
Right? Yeah, unbelievable. So, all right, Panther fans. Now, don't get crazy here. Okay, we're not saying we suck. We're not saying we're not going to make the playoffs. I'm just saying the third line was the key to our success last year.
Let's see who steps up.
Right.
Let's see who one of the kids in our pipeline.
If you can put Cousins in Marchman's spot and leave Reinhart, and you've got Cousins, Lundell, and Reinhart, and Cousins can be Reinhardt or Cousins can be Marchman, that still leaves you Colin White playing with Barkov or Huberto. So
Well, unless they move Hornquist up to the third
Right.
line or even because now I'm looking at Barkov and Verhaeghe need a winger.
well, they
and
needed
Bennett,
a winger. I
Bennett,
mean,
and Bennett and Huberto need a winger.
right. That's how all this started. Was we kept trying to put Owen Tippett up there, and he didn't work. No matter who we put up top, didn't work. And then then we got Giroux, and he didn't work. So I'm starting to wonder if Barkov is the freaking problem here. Okay, I'm just talking about it now, but it's like, think about it. No matter who we put up there with Barkov, it didn't work.
It's too bad we don't have the money to make this work. But somebody mentioned it, a few videos ago in the comments about Patrick Laine.
Right.
And I've been warming up to that idea since I saw that. Because if anybody would get Barkov going,
Right.
it would be his best friend.
Yeah.
But obviously it's a pipe dream because money-wise, we don't have
man.
it.
I mean, and every day that Bobrovsky contract looks worse.
Yeah.
It's like starting goaltenders are getting 5 and 6 million. It's like, how the hell did he get 10? I don't know. Thanks,
Yeah.
Dale. Much appreciated. Thanks, Dale. Appreciate that.
Crazy. Yeah, that deal really did us in. So did the Yandel deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, after this year, we won't have to worry about that.
Right.
But still got to sign Huberto.
Yeah.
I really don't see him being traded.
No, we're gonna sign here, and especially now if with Uyghur wanting us. I mean, we kind of had a feeling he was gonna want big money, right? But there's no way if Mackenzie Uyghur thinks she's getting a contract, getting paid more than Aaron Ekblad on this team. No, you know what I mean?
Listen, Sergachev earned his big bucks.
Yeah, 8 years.
When he came over from Montreal, he wasn't Mikhail Sergachev that you see now. That kid is, and again, just like with Kucherov,
right.
Some of the stuff that he does, I don't like. I mean, he's a really solid player, but, he's got his moments of, punching guys in the scrum and cross-checking and all that little shtick that these guys do.
But they win.
But I can't take anything away that he's a solid defenseman.
Yeah. Yep.
McDonough is gone. So Tampa's going to be somebody, some team to watch to see how they do. Palat's gone.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, that's what happens, right? You win a cup, you win 2 cups, and then you lose. And then sometimes the downslide starts. I don't see it happening.
They always seem to be in the mix. They'll find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we don't know their AHL pipeline. We don't know who they have waiting in the wings to come up. They always seem to find somebody.
And as long as they have Vasilevsky.
That's true. So that's what my hope is. My hope is that one of the kids just, rises to the top of the cream, the cream rises to the top, whatever the expression is, and just really kills it in training camp. And we find somebody to fill some gaps. Marchman, Mammon, Achari, Vetrano, Scherrat,
Giroux,
Connaughton, Giroux, obviously, Tippett.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a longer list. I got people on Twitter telling me we only lost Marchman and Giroux. That ain't exactly,
Yeah, losing Mammon, I mean, that was unexpected.
Right.
But losing Mammon, there's a guy that would have probably been the regular guy.
Yeah.
Instead of being, played half the season.
Yeah. I mean, no, considering the guys we signed, I would have loved to have kept Max and Mammon on this team, but he must be wanting to go home because
anyway.
Yep. All right, guys, we'll be fine. Don't worry. They ain't gonna get no 120 whatever points in the President's Trophy. We don't want that anyway. We're
Right?
gonna be fighting for a playoff spot, but if anybody out there thinks it's a gimme like last year,
Yeah, the way I'm thinking right now, we're a wild card team,
oh, definitely, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
which is
our
okay. Which is okay.
yeah, which is fine. You know,
As
look,
long as we turn this team into a playoff team, meaning we play playoff hockey
right,
all
right,
season and just, fine tune our game to be a playoff type team,
right,
not the
Right.
explosive offensive juggernaut that we had that basically, did nothing in the playoffs.
right,
It was great for stats, but
right.
look what you
Well,
do with stats.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We
Anyway.
got time. Yep.
Anyway,
All right,
so
guys.
hit the
Yep.
like button,
Yep.
hit subscribe,
I'm coughing this
and
morning.
comments
some
always
coffee.
welcome. I'd like to definitely hear from our regulars and see what they have to say about, if we missed anything,
Right.
please let us know.
I mean, we might have, there's a couple of minor league guys on two-way contracts we didn't talk about, but basically we did what we did. And
Wouldn't it be amazing? Listen to this one. What about the two guys we got from Philly? It was supposed to be one of the two was supposed to be a good player that just didn't live up to, like an Owen Tippett.
right,
Drafted high and just didn't live up to his expectations.
right.
That's why I'm saying maybe somebody will surprise us.
Well, that's what happened with Lusterinen, right? We thought the Trocheck trade was a waste, and now it wasn't. So, and
Yeah, Eric Haula.
Oh,
Look at that guy. He got traded.
Yeah, he's been on like 8 different teams in the last 5 minutes. That guy, and it's
And
weird.
Vinny Histarosa, he got traded again.
I mean, Hall is a good little
he's
player. He just can't. He's like Jared McCann. He just can't find a home.
Go. I texted you, Greg McGegg.
Yeah, Greg McKegg. Yeah,
375,000.
is that even legal?
I thought the minimum was
I thought-
750.
Yeah, I thought the minimum was like 750 or something, but it was.
But it's crazy.
That's crazy. I've never seen anything less than the 750.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's wild. I have to look at that. All right, guys. We appreciate all the support. Maybe we're not done. The moment they trade Mackenzie Weegar, even if I'm fishing, I will use my cell service and go live immediately in my waders as I'm sweating in the 85-degree weather, because it's normally 95, but it's been 85. This is we're not having next week summer comes. We're getting a reprieve from the long spring, but I'm enjoying it as it is now. All right, guys, appreciate all the support. We'll see you again soon.